Welcome to the Dawg Chug, featuring Roger First and Cuyahoga Falls, a guy that has been blocked by Deshaun Watson more times than we've done this stupid show, and Ed in Columbus, a guy who's been blocked by more people than Roger's been blocked by Deshaun Watson. It's amazing. Yeah. Welcome to the show, boys. How's it going today?
Great, man. Great, Andy. You doing well? How you doing, man? You know, you always start with asking Ed or I how we doing, and we ramble on. And how's Andy doing?
Wow. I don't even know what to say. I'll tell you what. I'm doing fantastic. It's a great day.
I couldn't come up with nothing at the last second there, so that's what I did.
I just completed a 3-day fast that I was doing with my wife, and I went to Mickey D's and got a couple cheeseburgers and some fries, and that was the best goddamn meal I've ever had.
Ooh. Nice.
Hey, well, sometimes when you're starving, Mickey D hits the spot. You regret it.
Speaking of God, Andy, as you put his name out there, my son tonight, we got some Dairy Queen tonight celebrated. My son has joined the Christian Athletes. So, it was nice to, drop him off. And I'll be honest with you.
Congratulations.
So we drop him off. Okay, this is about 30 miles out in God's country. Let's just say that. I live out in God's country, and we're even going further into God's country. Didn't realize that there would probably be, 35 to 40 young Christian athletes as well. Didn't realize how big, how huge the group is. So God bless them in their journey. And Andy, hey, you said God, and I delivered. And let's have a good show.
All right, MZ Lawrence and Cherry are in the comments. Thank you for tuning in as always. We got Bronchi Dog.
No. Oh, my favorite.
Nice. He'll be entertaining us all with his witticisms in the comments. So
Bronchi Dog's here.
That. But before we have a great show for you today, but before we get to it, let's entertain the fans with let's start with what do we got? Breaking news.
Ooh, okay. That's right. This is Ed in Columbus with your Dawg Chug. Breaking news. The Cleveland Browns lost another preseason game at home this past week in their decrepit stadium. As you can see by the picture on screen, Cleveland Browns Stadium is rusty. Damn, Watson is rubbing off hard. USA head basketball coach Steve Kerr spoke at the Democratic National Convention because, unlike Republicans, they offer tampons in the men's bathroom. And finally, it's that time of year again when we all become NFL GMs and draft. And hey, buddy boy, I got some advice. Josh Allen over Baker Mayfield, and I don't give a fuck how dangerous you are feeling. And this is Ed in Columbus with your Dawg Chug. Breaking news.
Wow. Wait, you don't have tampons in the men's bathroom in your house?
Ran out today. Emergency trip to Kroger. Got it done. Big way.
Well done, Ed.
Thank you, sir.
I think now we need to educate the fans with some news. Do we have a Dawg Chug update?
Yeah, that's you. You kick us off.
Let's see here. Let's just wait till we get the slide up, so it looks more official, because we're all about being professional on the Dawg Chug.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Even if it takes 27 minutes.
That memo that you sent out, damn, it's hit. Yeah, it was harsh, but we're gonna get the message here.
All right. So how long do you think till we get to the slide?
I don't know. I was trying to kill time with this memo that never happened. Now
aren't you the one that's controlling the slides, Ed?
I am, but aren't you going, Andy?
So I'm killing time until you get the slide.
Oh,
then I'm going to start going. I'm waiting for the slide.
Hey, we were doing so well up to this point,
too. We were. Okay. Well, I was getting it ready as well.
That's out the fucking window.
Well, that's right. There you go. There it is. Time for Dawg Chug update.
Now we're
next week.
All right. Ravens quarterback and AIDS clinical trial participant Lamar Jackson said in regards to criticism of falling short in the biggest games, I don't care what the critics say because I was coming off an injury and made it all the way to the AFC Championship game in a new system. Lamar, let me give you a little advice. Excuses are not the way to endear yourself to football fans. Maybe you should pivot to being a plumber. I hear they're total little bitches. Am I right, Roger?
We are. All right. The 2024 Little League World Series threw out the first pitch last week as the games and activities got underway, and it runs until championship night, August 25th. A highlight of the event is the MLB Little League Classic, which took place Sunday night in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, as the Detroit Tigers took down the New York Yankees. The Little Leaguers participate in events with big leaguers, from throwing out the first pitch to designing Adidas cleats for players to wear during the game. The kids were creative and captured the players' qualities and essence and told the story in inspired and clever ways, including the Little Leaguers from the near west side of Cleveland, who had a lot of fun making a pair for Aaron Judge to wear during the game. Fuck the Yankees. There you go.
Oh, that was good. All right. So in other news, today, Kevin Stefanski held Deshaun Watson out of practice, or I think he was limited, for what he called general arm soreness. Can you even imagine how many times your hand has to press block on X before you can't even throw a football?
Oh, I'm back up. That was a short one. All right. 7-time Super Bowl champion, former Michigan Wolverine, and all-time GOAT Tom Brady had a long visit with ESPN and Stephen A. Smith this past Monday, and he is asked about rookie quarterbacks forced to come in and play immediately, and the GOAT did not hold back. I think it's just a tragedy that we're forced to see these rookies play early. But the reality is the only reason why we are is because we've dumbed the game down, which has allowed them to play. Players' reaction was mixed lead wide, so the Dawg Chug reached out to the Cleveland Browns' true treasure, hot take favorite, and QB2, Jameis Winston, to see what he had to say. And Jameis did not disappoint. Tom Brady could say what he wants. He's like old McDonald on his farm. Dumb young boy QB's got to learn with the quack quack here and a oink oink there. Man, Tom Brady is the EI, here a goat, there a goat, everywhere a goat. Thank you, Jameis.
Oh my God. Can we end the show, please?
He's awesome.
That would be our best show ever. Pierre Strong was the second Cleveland running back to be taken in an ambulance from camp this afternoon. When asked, Kevin clarified that it wasn't actually a medical issue at all. They just thought loading him into a 12,000-pound vehicle that maybe he could get across the line of scrimmage.
Wow.
And that was your Dawg Chug update. Do we have a top 10?
Oh my gosh, this is hard hitting. Andy, you talk about a show. I don't know if it's good, but we're hitting them hard. And tonight we have a top 10. That's right. Top 10 signs that you are a die-hard Browns fan. Number 10. Draft all Browns players on your fantasy football team. And with the first pick overall, Bernie's Buds select Deshaun Watson. And that was my fantasy team in 2017, Bernie's Buds. We won the championship. But I haven't won since. Number 9, fight with Bengals fans about championships that were won before the Civil Rights Act was passed. Number 8, rename your 12-year-old dog Stefanski. Come here, boy. Number 7, wear Browns gear on Super Bowl Sunday no matter what.
Well, obviously.
I know, we've all done that. Number 6, pass out cheap candy to known Browns fans on Halloween.
I like that.
Number 5, buy a new pair of socks from Ross the Sock Boss for each game. Got to be fresh and so clean.
Got to have that.
Nice socks.
Number 4, buy an ugly vehicle, make it uglier, then pimp it out around Cleveland.
Done.
That'll get you on a patio for a game.
Yes, it will. Number 3, turn up the radio to hear Jim Donovan over Sparrow Deities on TV. I don't think that makes you die hard. I think that just makes you normal. Number 2, camp out in the Muni lot during the bye week. And the number 1 sign that you are a die-hard Browns fan is say fuck Pittsburgh after amen while praying at church on football Sundays. And those are your top 10.
Wow.
Hey, great job.
Very relevant.
Man, we went through that too. Look at that, 11 minutes.
All right. Well, MC Lawrence thinks this show is lit. I'm just going to go with that.
MC's I love MC Lawrence.
And now we're going to make the show even better because we're going to add a great voice. The guy that's he's just going around there. He's everywhere. He's writing articles. He's on podcasts. He's actually someone have mentioned that he might be dating Mary Kay. I don't know about that, but he's fantastic. He's been on the show before. Got more Browns knowledge than the three of us will ever have in his pinky. Welcome back to the show, Casey Kinnaman.
For the record, Mary Kay's playing hella hard to get. She's had me blocked since I got on Twitter. back in 18. So I'm working on it though. Following her up on Sports for CLE. One day she'll quit dodging me.
If you get her to unblock you, can you please convince her to unblock Nick Carnes? He's still upset about that.
He is brokenhearted.
No, she's not a big big fan of the Barking Browns. She is not.
Really? I don't
No,
understand.
That's her loss.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think she's
completely
threatened by you guys, you boys. You boys are good.
Well,
I've watched watched her little stand-ups after training camp.
Yeah.
If you want to get on her good side, I realize this, Andy. I saw her at training camp. She wears wedges, so get her a nice pair of wedge shoes. Get her a nice send it from the Barking Browns, and yeah, Mary Kay. I'll give her. She does have a nice shoe game. I'll give her that.
You know, if she threw in a Mary Kay update or a break Mary Kay news, she might have something. But
hey, look, I don't have any beef with her. She doesn't block me. Hey, anytime, Mary Kay. It's all good. Shout out. Sorry.
All right, enough. Let's get to Casey.
All right. So Casey, you are out there. Explain to the audience every bucket you are involved in as your
Christ,
grinding out your Browns fandom career here.
Well, currently I write for the Orange and Brown Report, the OBR. You can catch me every Tuesday and Friday, Barking Browns. Tuesday, 8 o'clock. Friday, who the hell knows when we go live. Every Thursday night, I'm on co-host of All Eyez on Cleveland with Brad Ward. And I do a weekly spot for Cleveland.com on Sports for CLE. Just too damn busy, man. And with football coming, there's just going to be more shows. It's nonstop. I don't sleep. I don't see my family. This fandom's holding me hostage.
I know we've had a couple preseason games. We haven't looked particularly good. We haven't really been playing anyone.
Something like that, yeah.
How, when we get everyone in there, is it just going to snap on like back to what we remember in those great games last year, or is it going to be a little tough for whatever reason? I know we have a lot of injuries on the offensive tackle position. What are your thoughts?
Well, the last time I was on your show, I got accused of being too analytical. So we're going to go straight vibes. We're just vibing out tonight. I'm just going to give you vibes. So here I am. I come into the season. Here's my expectations. Okay, well, my offensive expectations, they're coming down, but my defensive are coming up. So we're living in this ground right here. So to answer your question, no. The offense, I don't think it's going to be just get them all on the field and it magically takes off. I think they're going to have to work around some shit. You got to figure out what's going on left tackle. Obviously, even when Watson was Watson, when everybody wants to be like Houston Watson, he was never a fast starter. So it's not going to happen now. And no amount of time spent in the preseason is going to change that. Nothing he does against Seattle is going to change my opinion either way. So it's going to be a work in progress. But like the left tackle situation to me, it's like, well, we're going to find out what life is like for when you're playing us. When teams have to devise a way around Myles Garrett. They have to scheme and you have to chip and you have to throw tight ends and running backs. And it doesn't matter who your left tackle is. Your left tackle is not good enough. If you look at who the Browns open up with, Micah Parsons, week 2's Josh Hines-Allen, week 3's Burns and Thibodeau, week 4's Max Crosby. That's a fucking gauntlet right there, just right off the first 4 games. So no matter who you put out there, left tackle, even if it's Jedrick Wills, we can't really count on Jedrick to save us. You're going to have to scheme around things. It's going to be ugly. This defense has to carry you through, in my estimation, first 4 or 5 weeks. Hopefully by the time you get that 3-game homestand, offense starts to catch up, and then you can really start cooking after the bye with Nick Chubb.
Nice. Love that. I know we had one of the best in the business offensive line coaches for the past few years. He went to go coach with his son. What a loser. And now we have Andy Dickerson. And some are saying that's going to be a big setback for the offensive line. I know he came to Cleveland, right? Seattle let him leave. Where are your expectations for him? How are we going to do? And I only want 5s, no analytics.
I mean, look, Callahan's like a whisperer. Like we're rolling guys out there off the streets like Jerron Christian. And I mean, it wasn't like a world beater, but like you were surviving with tackles 5 and 6. Do you feel like you can do that with Dickerson? Probably not. You probably need your better players to stay healthy. But he's respected. The players seem to be reacting well to him in all these interviews when you hear Teller speak on him. So the offensive line, as a guy who grew up with his hand in the dirt, like that is the one position group that gets judged as a whole. And your weak link can really take you down, so they're going to have to scheme some shit around, but like offensive line play throughout the league, no one has good backups. So for us to act like the sky's falling, like the cavalry's coming, you got Jedrick Wills, you got Jack Conklin, you got DeJuan Jones. Most teams would kill to have at least 3 competent tackles like that. The problem is we're still dealing with last year's bullshit because those dudes got injured last year and it's like trickled over to this season. So, you're going to have to survive for the first few weeks till you get all these guys back. But after you get them back, I feel confident they'll get it figured out in the long run.
All right. And they don't seem concerned. So are they know these guys are like on the verge, or maybe they're healthy and they just don't want to risk injury because they see how critical it is? Or
I think they fucked it up. I think they misdiagnosed how long it was going to take Jedrick Wills to be healthy. I think they kind of understood Jack Conklin a little better.
I think he's a veteran, like he's not going to be out there in the middle of August. Let's just get ready to roll week 1.
Yeah, and he was out there today, and interestingly enough, they had him taking pass sets to the left, like he's warming up to be a left tackle, which is interesting. He'll be the world's most expensive swing tackle if that happens. But yeah, I think I quit following this team's words for so long because they don't say shit. You just have to follow their actions, and by their actions, they planned on Jedrick being healthy. And I don't think they planned on really working it up to this point to have him back. I think they plan on having him back after the Greenbrier, and it just never materialized, So I think they're just playing the cards they're dealt.
All right. So you're more informed than the 3 of us combined. When would you expect that he'll be back? Is there any?
Oh, Christ. I would have expected it already. The fact that he hasn't, and him and DeJuan had the surgery roughly around the same time, the same surgery, and DeJuan's a good 40 pounds heavier and came back sooner. Like, to me, there's underlying issues. I know a lot of people want to point to his work ethic because you see him quit on plays, so it's logical to assume that maybe he wasn't given his own rehab. I can't speculate on that, but maybe something else setback. Maybe he had another, because when you're trying to come back from an injury like that, anyone who's had knee surgery, it's easy to strain a hip flexor just because you're compensating for the lack of mobility or strength in your leg. So he might have had a couple minor setbacks, but no one's giving away left tackles for free, So I don't. No. People just want them to throw a Hail Mary and just go get a guy. No teams are getting rid of quality offensive tackles, so I think they're just going to have to make do until he does come back.
Oof. That's going to be scary.
Yeah. Yeah, but every team that plays us has that shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Trying to block Miles, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't really matter. Like, you're going to have to.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I had nothing important to say, Roger. Kick it.
I just like Jed's always been sluggish. He's kind of a sloth. I think, and then they gave him the extension, right? He got his money. Or
they
not
gave him the 5th year.
His 5th year. And like you said, you know what? I got an argument with Joe Thomas on draft night, and I wanted, worse. And he, Joe won the argument. We drafted him, and look who left the country. Joe Thomas.
Roger, are you saying that he left? He went to Germany out of shame because he lost an argument to Roger?
Everybody, they beat me down. Hey, they beat me into submission. This is Joe Thomas. Who are you arguing with? Who do you think you are? And then Joe ended up leaving the country. I don't know. That's just the way it turned out.
I've been on the wrong side of the argument because I wanted Mekhi Becton.
Yeah. Well, I agree, Casey. I got to want to say a statement and then give you 3 questions because I want you to go off on this. I think we all agree the offensive line is going to dictate the win-loss record of the Cleveland Browns this year. Their offensive line is better than we think. We could be 11-5, 12-5. You know what I'm saying? 11-6, 12-5. If it's really bad, there's a scenario it could be 8-9. I think that's our floor, though. I think 8-9. If we have a really bad offensive line, but my question to you, Casey. Okay, so obviously we have a new system with Ken Dorsey. This new offensive line coach, who hired him? Was it more of a Ken Dorsey hire? Was it more Stefanski? The current players that we have on the offensive line, what's your analysis? Are they able to handle a Ken Dorsey offense? Because I feel like a lot of times, you hire a new offensive coordinator, but I would let the offensive coordinator hire who my offensive line coach and what my strategy. No offense to Kevin Stefanski, coach of the year 2 times, but you are installing. Kevin Stefanski threw up the white flag and said, I need to change my offense for Deshaun Watson. I'm bringing in Ken Dorsey. It is a different offense. Maybe these players, maybe the offensive line, in your estimation, can they handle the Ken Dorsey system? And I'll let you go. I just want to throw that out there.
Well, answer the very first part. That wasn't even a question. I think their floor is 9 and 8. We're pretty close together.
Okay, 8,
on
9,
that.
9, and okay.
Yeah, I think that's their floor. I think they're a high floor team. We saw that last year.
Yeah,
Run through
I agree with that.
5 quarterbacks and 8 tackles or whatever the fuck it was, and you kept it above 500. But they interviewed Dickerson before they ever got Dorsey. Like when they were interviewing offensive coordinators, they brought him in early. He was the guy that already. I think they kind of seen the writing on the wall when Callahan got hired in Tennessee. Brian Callahan, that Bill might end up following him. So I think they interviewed him under the guise of offensive coordinator with the understanding they were probably interviewing their future offensive line coach. So I think that was a Stefanski hire.
Okay.
But time will tell about this Dorsey offense. And that's the other thing too. People don't want to hear it because it's the boring answer. Like Stefanski's never had a system that was only his. It's always been a collaborative effort. But he's the one calling the play, so everyone will say it's Stefanski's system. This is going to be no different. Dorsey has a ton of input, obviously, and he's the one actually wrangling all the ideas in the meeting rooms, and then they're going to collaborate on during the week, and it's going to be a different feeder system in Stefanski's ear. Stefanski's still the one calling it in, but can the offensive? How much of a difference will it be for the offensive line? That remains to be seen. I know with the receivers, it's going to be a ton different because you're going to have these option routes, these choice routes, which I think suits some of your players better than others. For a player like Cedric Tillman, who kind of struggled with the mental stuff as a rookie, that's going to be a lot for him to take in because he wasn't on the same page when it was strict routes.
Right.
Now, are you going to be on the same page when you have to read the defense and adjust your route accordingly and be on the same page as the quarterback with all your depth and everything? So that remains to be seen. The offensive line, I kind of feel like they're living off their 2020 reputation still. People always put them up like top 3, top 5.
Yeah.
Now I know they're paid like that.
Right.
Maybe top 12, but in this NFL, Jacob was going over it last night. If you look at the 2021 Bengals offensive line who went to the Super Bowl, it's fucking trash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can mitigate things.
Right.
The real thing I'm really hoping is I'm hoping this isn't the end for Joel. I'm hoping because we have to rely on that middle. We have some injuries on the outside of the tackles, but you feel pretty solid on the inside with Bitonio, Teller, and Pochich. But we're getting near that stage for Bitonio. When it falls off, it's probably going to fall off pretty hard. And that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
We late last season we gave a big contract extension to Grant Delpit. This training camp we gave a big contract extension to JOK.
Mm-hmm.
Which of those two players do you think is going to have the better couple of years in Cleveland?
Oh, that's a great question. JOK, because I just think that I don't know. It depends on their usage really, because Delpit is a Swiss Army knife. And I look at both of those guys as like whiteboard players. Those are players that when offensive coordinators get in their meeting room, they got to circle those numbers. Because when a quarterback comes to the line, you got to find 6, you got to find 9. It's getting used to saying those two numbers together. But that's what you got to do. Those are guys you can kind of move around. They can be very versatile, do different things. Delpit, especially with people who haven't talked about this, but with Greg Newsome being out, you might see Delpit more in the slot. Come down on that overhang against these bigger power slots. A lot of these guys are getting sneaky with their tight end usage, putting him in the slot. He's a bigger guy. He can do those kind of things. But you can move him around. You can play him anywhere. He's athletic enough to play the back end like a free, but I think he's more versatile in the box as a strong or as an overhang or a slot defender. And JOK is just a fucking menace. He's a guy that, like, if you can keep him clean, he had 20 tackles for loss last year. When you look at the league leaders in the league, everyone that's on that list other than him are edge rushers. He's a weapon, man. And you can't have enough of those players, in my opinion, weaponizable players. And man, for Schwartz lets you be aggressive. And he's the perfect type of linebacker for an aggressive defensive coordinator.
Wow.
So I'm not answering your question.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Fair enough. You did get a little analytical there, but I love it.
Vibes. Not bad. Bring it back to vibes.
I want you to be analytical. I love it.
They're going to expect more out of us next week. That's just a problem.
Vibes.
But yeah, it's oh my gosh. There's the Browns just have so many playmakers on this defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
Well, it's awesome for us who have been here this whole damn time, and don't have to think back too far to 2016, 2017 when you got nothing, and you know what I mean. Now it's an embarrassment of riches. But we deserve this. If you lasted through all that trash to get to here and just have all these playmakers, and like I'm not even talking about Martin Emerson. You know what I mean? There's other players who are, in my opinion, are ascending that by the end of the year will be recognized as one of the very best at their position.
Who is a guy on the defense that like no one's like sees as a fixture on this defense that it's going to be a stud?
What you got, Roger?
Grant Delpit, watch number 9.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guy. That's my guy. I think an all-pro season. I think Grant Delpit just turns the corner this year and just takes command of that back end of that secondary. And he, I think Grant Delpit's my guy.
Who's a lesser known guy than Grant Delpit? Because was higher.
Yeah.
I'm on Alex Wright.
Oh yeah,
Alex Wright. Alex Wright's really coming to his own, man. And when they drafted him out of UAB, you see the raw talent. He didn't know how to weaponize it, and you're seeing that whole defensive end room is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Like I'm actually writing a piece about guys that you're just not going to be able to sneak onto a practice squad. There's a few of them on that defensive line. Isaiah Thomas is another one. That dude belongs in a rotation, not just on a roster, but in a rotation. You're not going to get that here, though, if everybody stays healthy. You know what I mean? But I think Alex Wright's prime for a huge year. And then that's Jacob's guy. So I'll give credit to Jacob when it happens. But I think he's going to be huge. Another Cam Mitchell. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. And I think they'll feel better about moving off of Newsome if they have to, based on what he can do. Or, hate to say it, Denzel just had his 5th recorded concussion, last week.
Just about to bring that up.
There's a world where he has some money on his contract through, and then 2027, that's when it disappears. They might move off of him a year early, and you might hold on to Newsome to put Newsome outside where he should be playing. He's better suited to be an outside corner because you have Cam Mitchell. You draft a Miles Harden. You can use Delpit as a slot defender as well.
Your cohorts are asking about Devin Bush.
Dude's fast as shit, dude. He's like, as far as like, I like him just because he's got crazy movement skills, and you're going to ask him to be a depth linebacker. Like, you can really play with lineups to get that guy on the field. And if you're like in a second and long scenario and you can put JOK and Bush next to each other, that's a ton of speed. That'll be the most speed at linebacker in the NFL and sub packages.
I believe that. I think the same thing. I think with Devin Bush, Callahan, he unlocked JOK. You know what I mean? And I think that he can do the same thing. Bush is made to play in this scheme, like JOK, in the wide 9. I think he's going to unlock. I think is a tremendous pickup. And I'm not just saying that because he went to Michigan, but he was an important part of that. He was an important part of that front 7.
But it has a little bit to do with Michigan.
Maybe just a little bit. But he was an important part of that front 7 that was the best in the country when he played on that defense.
It's his movement skills, though. Just watch. Sometimes he'll accidentally get the play because he's just so damn fast. You know what I mean? Another linebacker we're not talking about, Mahmoud Diabate. Oh. I'm very impressed with his development. You know what I mean? Last year, he was fun to watch, but he was kind of erratic and overrunning plays, but he flashed. But this year, you're seeing him be more patient, read plays, read his keys, alignment, assignment, and keys. You play defense. If you can do that, you're going to be good. Kid's got all the athletic talent. Now he's just learning to read plays and just react when the play happens. You got to be. I think that, in my opinion, I would keep him over Tony Fields.
Oh yeah,
he's looked great in the preseason games, right? Anyway, okay, let's get to. Ed, do you have anything?
Yeah, the only thing I just thought of this because you covered everything, Casey, and you did a great job. But I was thinking, what can I possibly say that I haven't seen on X lately? But something came to me, and my buddy once again. Cade York. Here's the deal. So is Cade York going to kick in Seattle? Will he? They're not going to put out Hopkins, right? They're just showcasing York.
Yep.
Okay. So here's the deal. York bangs 3 or 4, nice ones in Seattle. Okay. He hasn't missed yet, so he's perfect, right? In the preseason. Okay. And then Hopkins, big contract, 3-year, $15 million, 3 years, roughly, whatever. Same thing that McPherson got down in Cincinnati, roughly. Say he struggles. I mean, we know how Brown's X is. I mean, if Cade York is gonna, I'm just saying, and I think that's a fun little twist. And one thing about the Browns, I've always said this, Casey, they are always drama. Like, in any other franchise, Cade York is gone. We bring him back. Why do we bring him back? I don't really know why. We don't really owe it to him to showcase him. I think he goes perfect. Drama. What do you say to that, Casey? What do you think about that?
Barry loves his guys. If you'd have told me this time last year when York was just driving the struggle bus that he'd get cut, they'd sign a guy, the guy would do great, but then they'd bring York back. It just shows you. Don't be surprised if they trade for Harrison Bryant. That's all I'm saying. They love their dudes. They got Nick Harris back, getting the band back together. And I think York's if he goes out there and he bangs 2 or 3 decent field goals against Seattle and another team has an injury, they'll probably try to flip him for an asset. But they'll also have zero issues with stashing this dude on the practice squad. I don't think the outside noise would dictate whether York gets.
I know. I just always fun.
But
it's just fun to talk about.
But if Hopkins gets hurt, you know that they love their dudes, man. If they draft you, they kept Anthony Schwartz a year too long. We'll see what they do with Siaka this year. You know what I mean? But they love their dudes.
Siaka's gone.
It's got to be.
Right? Got to be.
It's got to be. The tape doesn't lie.
Cade York. First of all, we are in kind of a tough economic, situation. You can't just whatever. Buying and selling a home is tough. As I'm a real estate agent, I know this. Cade York lived in Cleveland, got cut by Cleveland, probably continued living in Cleveland. Has a better, if he stays in Cleveland, he doesn't have to do that whole thing, and he doesn't have a lot of money at this point, I wouldn't imagine, as a guy that got drafted in the fourth round.
Yep.
So anyway, look, I'm not sure if it's so much that Barry loves his guys. I think he keeps a great relationship with his guys and saw an opportunity to bring a extremely talented kicker in to flip it for a 5th round pick. And I think that's what's likely going to happen. And if it does, that's the genius of Andrew Barry. That's where he's playing the annoying chestnut checkers because, we wasted a 4th round pick on this guy. And now we're going to get
fuck it, Andy. I'm calling it. I called the Stephen Kwan thing. I'm calling it right now. Cade York will kick a meaningful field goal for a Cleveland Browns victory late in the fucking season this year. I'm calling it right now. Calling it. You will see this clip of Ed 5,740. I was right about Kwan.
Yeah. Hey, does that give me hope? And it's got nothing to do with Michigan. But do I see DPJ back in a Browns uniform?
I mean, you can't rule it out.
Because he was a steal of the draft.
He was.
And maybe get him back,
And he's the only receiver that they've developed under this regime. And,
I think if he's here with Flacco, I think if they don't get rid of him and he plays with Flacco, I think he's still here.
Maybe.
I think Flacco does for him what he did for Njoku and Amari Cooper.
I mean, it's possible. I know I missed him because Tillman wasn't ready.
Loved him, though.
I think that was a misdiagnosis of skill. And they didn't plan on having Joe Flacco. They didn't have they thought they were going to be running the football, and they were just trying to get assets for a guy that they were going to eventually lose. So I see the reasoning, but all of a sudden, when Flacco pumps life into your vertical passing offense, you could have used that guy who can actually read a defense.
That's what I'm saying. Because Flacco just came in and threw the football all over the place and just said DPJ, send him long. And if he beats somebody, you know what I mean? Just another vertical threat with Flacco. Because he's just throwing it wherever.
Another Michigan Wolverine player with Roger. This is getting complicated.
It sounds that way. Disgusting.
You have to at least pretend like you're not biased. Sorry.
No, but I truly like the kid because he had opportunities to leave Michigan when they were horrible, and he was recruited, and he stayed there because he's from there, so he's got heart. You know what I mean? And he could have went to a bigger college or he had other opportunities to play somewhere else with quarterbacks,
I have a DPJ jersey. I love the guy, but
I got to be honest. I don't understand how he hasn't really caught on with the Lions. Yeah. He's not even vying for a starting spot to this point right now.
I know. I'm baffled by it too because I'm disappointed.
All right. Well, let's move it along to Spit Sip Chug.
All right.
Ed, I'm gonna pass it along to you. You're gonna run it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, for the audience out there that may have not tuned into the Dawg Chug yet, this is a game that's got so much fame. I gave it its name. It is Spit Sip Chug. We will say a statement, not a question. It is a statement. If you heavily agree, you will chug. If you're lukewarm on it, but somewhat, you're going to sip. And if you just fully disagree, you're going to spit. And Andy actually does really spit. And because of that, we'll start with him first. And the statement being, with the state of the offensive tackle situation, the Browns should avoid playing Deshaun Watson Saturday.
Should they avoid playing him? Look, I could care less about Deshaun Watson playing on Saturday. and I don't think it matters at all. But you got to fucking play the guy. I mean, you said you were going to do it. I don't really care about optics, so it doesn't even factor into it. The tackle situation is what it is. So if you can't make it work, if you're scared of it in the preseason, then what the fuck are you doing in 2 weeks? So just go play him, run the ball like 8 of his plays, have him throw like 2 easy passes and get it over with, and all will be fine. So
nice. Casey.
You gotta play him. The point that Andy made was perfect. Like, you're going to have to play him in 2 weeks. What are you going to just not roll him out against the Cowboys because it's not ideal? You can mitigate things, but for me, it's not even. I don't give a shit what he does. Like, as far as his play, you got to get him used to being in the huddle, getting plays with Stefanski, getting guys to the line, getting your protection set, identifying defenses. 2 drives. Give me 2 drives, 3 tops. But like, it's. You got to, man. You got to get his toe wet before the regular season.
nice. All right, Roger.
I'm sipping. Because Ed, you know what? I love that Ed runs the spit sip chug now because I get to sip. He never
We
disqualifies it.
forgot, Andy. We forgot once again. Yeah, usually
No,
Roger
I'm sipping because what does it matter at this point? Because he should have already played in last week's game, like Casey just said, to get used to being in the huddle, get used to guys around him. Come out and tell us honestly, Stefanski, and say, hey, Watson's going to play, but if he even gets a hint of trouble, he's throwing the football out of bounds. He's not going to get hit. He's not running with the football. We're out here. We're going to work on some stuff. And that's what preseason's for. You know what? In Pittsburgh, you got a guy that, whack job, won a Super Bowl and he's an MVP. And he's competing for a job with the first round number 1 overall bust that they both have. Now, the difference is money. We have more money invested into Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying that him and Winston should have been competing for a job, but I do not believe in this sitting them and not playing, because Minka Fitzpatrick I keep saying Fitzpatrick Parsons cannot wait, man. Dallas's defense, you know what I mean? I just don't see going into the Dallas game not taking 1 snap. I just don't see it. I don't understand it. I don't know, but I'm a plumber. What the hell do I know? And it's baseball season, so what the hell do I care?
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna chug. I'm gonna chug. Here's why. I'm going to some crazy reasoning. They should avoid playing them, and I don't really care about the offensive line. It looks like shit right now, and I'm really scared for any quarterback that decides to say hut hike. But here's the deal: I want to see him not play because honestly, I want to see more DTR. I coined it "Don't throw, run," and then I saw Aaron Goldhammer steal it from me 2 weeks later. But I just want to say this: I thought that was very clever. And but actually watching DTR this year, he can throw the ball. He's fun to watch, and I think with the offensive line and the way it is, he's our best chance for fun. And it's preseason, and it doesn't matter. But I want to turn on the game at 10 o'clock and watch some fun because it doesn't really matter between Watson and Winston. Those are going to be our 2 quarterbacks going. So I just want to have some fun. I avoid being played. I don't want to see him going out there. We know what's going to happen. He's going to look like shit, and then it doesn't really matter because if he looks like shit against Dallas, he's going to say it wasn't enough snaps. It wasn't enough. To Casey's point, he should have already played. So at this point, what does it fucking matter? So DTR time, baby. And that will lead us to our second statement. And we will start with Casey. And that statement being, if a team gives up a 5th-round pick for DTR, would you take it?
No. You just made that a question.
It wasn't a question.
I understand
They're
that,
out.
but if you actually read the statement down there, which I did not read verbatim, and you'll have to get away with that at national conventions, I hear, then it's a statement. So
the way it was read is
the statement is I would trade DTR.
Interprets on the teleprompter, Andy. Interprets what's there.
If someone offers a 5th-round pick, you take it. That's what it is.
I got it on the banner. I told Casey he's more than welcome to read it.
Who wrote it? Let's check with the guy that wrote it.
Hell no. If you're not offering a day 2 pick for DTR, I'm not touching it. That kid has starting upside. And you're fortunate. You have your starter in place. You have your veteran backup in place. He's your developmental guy with high upside. I'm holding on to that kid. Unless you're going to tell me I'm getting a 2nd or 3rd round pick, I'm not even entertaining that shit.
Nice. Roger.
No, man, I would. I'm spitting on it, I guess. I wouldn't get rid of him because you know what? I pick on him because he was a fifth-year player. He played in the Pac-12, which I could probably play quarterback in the Pac-12. But he's experienced, he's seasoned, he's in this system. He knows Stefanski, you know what I mean? He's a guy that you want on the bench as your number 3 because he knows the system, and when he goes in the game, he's not a deer in the headlights. You know what I mean? And to continue, and yeah, he has a ceiling. You know what I mean? He's not at it, and then it'd be a waste of time. So I absolutely, you don't trade him for, what was it, a 5th-round pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But give me a 3, like Casey. My source said a 3, we do it.
Nice. Good sources. And I will also spit as well. Casey's right. You got to get a little higher than that because also too, like he's developed. It's fun actually to watch a quarterback. Like it's like Jose Ramirez when he came out. I never thought Jose Ramirez would be the MVP. He was up and down hitting 200, and and I look at what we got with DTR, and damn, he really has. I'm not going to say his ceiling's that high, but damn, he could be a very serviceable and cheaper option moving forward with the backup, and it'll be fun, and you won't have to play carousel and get, what I'm saying, if you want to build a dynasty, and that's how you got to do it. So I like DTR, big fan of his. Andy.
Yeah, so unfortunately I wasn't able to watch Saturday's game live. I was playing in a poker tournament, if you can believe that. But I saw some, I saw the final score of the game, and I saw some people commenting on how bad our quarterbacks looked. So I went into the game. I TiVo'd it and watched it later, and I was expecting to see a disaster, but man, TGR played great. He threw whatever. There were some unfortunate plays that I don't know that it was his fault. Whatever. Point is, I see potential there. I see a lot of potential. I see a lot of upside. There's no way in hell I'm taking a 5th-round pick for him. Let's just take the 6th or 7th-round pick for Huntley from the desperate team, and let's go into the
Chargers.
I love DTR. Yeah. And I know he was put into a very impossible situation last year, and showed that it was an impossible situation, but I still believe in his upside, and keep it going. Plus, He's a good kid. I really like listening to him talk and everything. So, love DTR.
Great responses all around there. We'll go to our third statement. I won't mess it up this time, but Casey, I want to know real quickly with DTR. That interception that he threw and thrashed or whatever, I think it was more on the receiver. I don't think that was DTR. You can blame a quarterback, but it was the right read, and it did hit him in the arm. Like, make the catch, dude.
The Thrash has to catch that ball, but there was a wide open Mikey Tree streaking up the sideline on the left. He could have threw that in there, but the Thrash has to make that catch.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Moving on to statement number 3. Thank you. I was thinking about that all week. I wanted to just hear rational thinking here. Number 3, when the regular season starts, the Browns O-line will be league average or better. And we'll start with Roger this time. He gets to start with the Hogs up front.
I heard it from my sources, and what I understand is that we're living in the past with the offensive line. We're living on the reputation of a line that was, top 5, 3, 4 years ago. It's like Browns fans have with the same thing with Odell Beckham. We have this it's like my 4-year-old comes up and he's like, "Daddy, look what I got." And it's like, just like mud and like an old, something he dug up. And he's cherishing it. I'm looking at him like, it's just a rusty old toy and some mud. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like how the Browns fans cling on to something, It's a new offensive system, a new offensive line coach. If we're there, if we're in the middle, the first 4 games, I'll be happy. So what am I sipping? If that's where we're at after 4 games, I'm happy.
Okay. I have no idea what that means.
Thank you. Okay. Well, I get to go next, and
I think that's puke.
At this point, I'm rarely paying attention. So.
Yeah, puke is when you don't answer the statement. You puke.
I don't even get to copy his answer. I don't even know where to go with this. So I guess I'm Chug. When the regular season starts, the Browns O-line will be league average. I'm going to Chug on that.
It's like an IQ test here.
I think
even with
the new system, even with players coming back from injury, even with stuff that, most teams, I think, but because they are really good. Here's the thing, like our offensive line, maybe these guys aren't the right players eventually in the system. We're going to find that out. How do we find that out? They play. Guess what they haven't done? They haven't played. Everybody freaking out. Guess what? They haven't fucking played yet because they're all hurt. Maybe, I know Dallas week 1, probably not the best team to play in week 1, but we're going to find out. I think talent will trump what the learning curve with them may take a little bit, maybe take a game. But unlike some teams who don't have a great offensive line or above average, it would take them a season to cost them the season. I think the Browns, even losing Callahan, the players are good enough to tone. These are all pro, not all pro, but Pro Bowl players, and they'll get it done. So I'm definitely going to chug on that. Andy?
Yeah. Look, first of all, the Cowboys suck on the road, so I'm not even worried about them. If you think about it. But I think the Browns have invested so much in their offensive line. I have a lot of confidence in this coaching staff. I think we're going to get our tackles back shortly, whether that means like maybe week 2 or week 3. So I don't know if this statement means like week 1 or if it means early part of the season. If I'm looking at it early part of the season, I think they're going to be. I think average is a good baseline, and I'm hoping for better than that. But I don't think they'll be. That's a good. It's a good floor. I don't think they're going to be worse than average. So I'm chugging.
Wow, Casey.
I think it says more about the rest of the NFL than it does them. I don't think offensive line plays that good across the league, so I think they'll at least be average.
Damn.
All right.
Nice. I agree with that. Roger.
Can I say something about the O-line, though? And I was thinking about this, and I tweeted out the middle of our offensive line, though, is solid. You know what I mean? With center and our 2 guards. Yeah. And that's what makes me really – what's going on the tackles, you got to figure it out, but, it's not like that's where the core of the offensive line, man. That's the trenches right there, so, I don't even know if that changes I'm going to chug again just because I want more beer.
We started with him. We ended with him.
Most football podcasts call it the interior offensive line.
I say that.
But Roger calls it the middle.
I say that because of the depth, and it's got nothing to do with the University of Michigan, but we got a pretty good rookie that we got sitting behind the 2 all-pro Pro Bowl guards that we got. So I feel confident with the center of our offensive line, no matter whatever, hopefully they figure the tackles out. Is that fair, Casey?
Well, that's fair. And I mean, I'm just scared they're going to age out. That's my concern in the middle. But at the peak of their powers, Petonio, Teller, and Pochich, that's as good as an interior offensive line as you're going to find in the league. Are they still of that ilk? I don't know. I have a fucking ton of faith in DeJuan Jones. I think on the right side, and it's for me, it's just one missing piece, but then that's all it takes is one weak link. You know what I mean, to really knock you down a peg.
Real quick, I respect your opinion a lot. What do you think the odds that Zach is going to, grow into being a long-term starter for this team? Are you convinced? Are you unsure?
Oh, very high. I just don't know if it happens next year or the year after. And it just depends on how these players age. And don't get me wrong, man, Joel could play great this year. He could also just decide at the end of the year, I've had enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it'd be well-deserved. I mean, borderline Hall of Fame career. And I know people keep trying to rush Teller out of town. I've been guilty of it in the past. But quality offensive line are hard to come by. If you have a guy that you feel confident in, and like Zinter, I didn't know how quick he'd return from that broken leg. He appears to be, progressing nicely. But you're not really going to know until you start to see a full workload. And he's had a deal. I know PFF graded him well in pass pro. I thought he was a good run blocker coming out of college. He really hasn't looked good in run blocking so far. And you're playing against second and third stringers. So I still think he needs to develop, but that's the reason that move was made, so they could get cheaper on the offensive line eventually.
And by the way,
Yeah,
Wyatt
absolutely.
Teller and his lovely wife decorated this tree for me. It's a true story.
I couldn't get a Christmas card, dude.
You know what? I signed up for a Christmas card and she didn't send me one, Mrs. Teller.
I'm saying.
Wow. That's because she saw you were
And
blocked.
Andy got a tree decorated by her. Great.
All right. Sorry.
No, I'm losing control. I just want to say this. We started with Roger. We ended with Roger. And then Andy starts talking about himself, pulling an Ed move right there. Good analysis by Casey, but I'm losing total control. And I want to say this, Andy, because I did mess up the statement and made it formed it as a question. But when you answered that last statement, you even said you didn't understand when the season starts. I just want the audience to know you wrote it. Okay, we're moving on to statement 4. The Guardians must win tomorrow in order to win the division. Now, I thought this was a very harsh statement, and the curtain held back. We actually had to change that because Guardians got their brains beat in today. So we'll start with me. Great. They must win. No, they don't have to win. So I got to spit. But you know what? I'm gonna chug. I'm gonna chug fuck it because I want it all. You know, it's about time. I want to put pressure on Cleveland. You got to win the series in New York. Something Cleveland teams don't usually do. Look what happened in the Cavs and the Knicks, and So yeah, I'm chugging, Andy. I think this is a total crazy kind of statement, but I love it. It's what the Dawg Chug does, so I'm chugging.
All right, so the Guardians must win.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Fuck it, go.
So you're chugging. You're saying
I'm chugging it. Fuck it. Let's win. Because I'm confident we're gonna win. Because I'm confident we're gonna win.
Listen, I'm confident we're gonna win. I hope we win, but. Yeah. I could give two shits about one fucking game in the season, defining our season. That's ridiculous. You obviously don't know anything about baseball if you think that.
I obviously don't, but it'll be fun though, because once they lose or something, I'll forget I said that, and I'll still, what I'm saying, that's what Cleveland fans do.
All I'm saying is Roger's going to agree with me, and he knows baseball, so you fucked up. Good job, Ed.
Thank you.
This is where I lose your audience. I know dick about baseball. I don't know anything about baseball.
Chug.
No, I'm going to middle ground. I'm going to stick my pinky up here.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Little dainty set, but yeah, I don't know dick about baseball.
There you go. Roger, the baseball expert, right, Andy?
He's just writing me off right there. That's him writing me off. Roger's big baseball guy.
Andy, you never feel what's going to say. What was I going to agree with you on? Say
I don't know.
I mean, go ahead, continue.
You look. The statement is Guardians have to win tomorrow, or they won't win the division. What?
Well, that's ridiculous. I was waiting my turn. I wasn't going to butt in because I butt in.
Your turn.
I had 3 vibes or 9.5%. So I've had 3 of them. So you know how that gets. That's a ridiculous statement, of course. I did the math earlier. I didn't know there'd be math tonight. There's 36 more games now left. We only need to win 20 of them. That'll finish 93 wins. That'll easily win division. You know what? Beating the Yankees would be great. It's an American League game. We still got the Rangers. We still got the Rays. We got Kansas City twice. We got Detroit. And we got the fucking Twins. American League games are going to be important. So, but we only need to win 20 of them. There's 16 more that we can throw away. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to get crazy over one game on August 22nd or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And say the division's lost. We still got to play the Twins. That series in the middle of September 15, 16, 17. That's an important series. Those might be must-win games. Come back to me that week and ask me about must-win games with the Guardians. So
you're
one on a turn.
It sounds like you're spinning.
I may not know baseball. I may not know football, Casey, but I'm on top of baseball, baby.
You're my go-to for baseball.
So the audience was very, very blown away that you were able to come up with tomorrow's date after your 3 9.5%ers. Do you know what year it is?
Me?
Yeah.
It is. We're in the middle of 2024.
Wow. Okay. Do you know who the president is? We're just giving him a cognitive test to see if who is the current president.
It's a guy in a mask that looks like Joe Biden. I saw it. I zoomed in. I posted. I did a Scooby-Doo thing where he pulls the mask off. And it was Bill Belichick on one of them.
All right. Now the hardest question:
Nobody
who will
knows.
be the next? Who will be the next president of the United States?
I'm not answering that question.
I see what he's doing.
You don't know? You're
not
cognitively
political.
inclined.
Hey,
You don't know.
I was once given a psychiatric evaluation. They asked me who Barney Rubble's father was one of the questions on the psychiatric evaluation that I received when I was in my troubled youth.
Did you just say Mr. Rubble?
You know what my answer was? They asked me who was Bam Bam's father.
Oh.
And I said, well, and I said Barney was like their adoptive father, and like I went into a spiel. I was like a kid. I don't know what they were asking me that for.
Wow.
Yabba dabba do.
All right. Well, very good. Thank you, Roger. Ed, well done. That was
Thank you.
A great edition of Spit Sip Chug, right? Did we finish?
We did.
No, well, you guys skipped right to me at the end. Yeah.
No, we got to
You went
you
around the
in
horn.
rotation. We went around and it got to you.
All
You
right.
seemed very confused, which is why I wanted to make sure you're mentally fit. We asked some questions.
That's a good call right there, Andy. That's a good call right there.
Anyway.
I love you, Roger, but I think for the good of the show, I think it was necessary.
The better question is, are you wearing a mask? Okay. Casey, is there something about the Browns that like no one's talking about that you think we should be talking about?
Vibes. Okay. I did not follow my own advice. After last preseason, there's a bunch of good shit that happened. It was an exciting preseason. And I took that in my head and thought it was going to mean something in the regular season. It didn't mean shit, right? So then I told myself going into this preseason, okay, don't get carried away. Whatever happens, it's preseason. But then I didn't follow my own advice when things started looking bad. It's still the same thing. It doesn't mean shit. Don't try to take things that are happening. Understand the starters have only played 2% of the snaps in this preseason. So it is not going to be indicative of what happens in the regular season. It's a whole separate beast. So just everybody who's panicking, just relax, just breathe. It's going to be fine. And as we talked about earlier, I believe the floor for this team is 9-8. I believe the ceiling is like a 12-win team. This should be a fun ride. That's what I want to impart on this whole discussion is you have talent at every level. On the defense, you have a star at every level. This is the Browns roster is in a rarefied air. Everyone's questions are hanging on Deshaun. We've seen what this team was able to do with 5 different quarterbacks last year. If Deshaun if he's upper mid, you might win the division. You know what I mean? So that's my whole mentality is this defense is going to be very special. You have playmakers on offense. If we get our Lord and Savior, Nicholas Jamal Chubb back, this thing could fucking roll.
Well, Andy said he's going to give me $1,000, but I have to bet the Browns beat Dallas. Would you right now?
Yeah.
You think they beat Dallas week 1?
This defense at home, yes.
Okay.
They're going to choke out Dallas.
Okay, Andy.
I don't know if
give
we're
me
going to
$1,000. Hey, if I lose, blame Casey. Okay, but if we win, then hey,
wait, I'm giving you $1,000 for what?
The Browns to beat Dallas because he's talking about the starting off the season and to relax as Browns fans. But I think as Browns fans, I think it's fair to a little bit be concerned about the opening week because if the offense does start slow, Dallas has a great defense too. It's not like I know Dak, but we say that he does put up big numbers in the regular season. So and they do have CD Lamb.
This defense, not at home.
I hope you're right.
This defense at home's a little different. I'll say this too: they have a different defensive coordinator. Their defensive coordinator is now the head coach of the Commanders. It's taken me 2 years to say that name right. And now they have Mike Zimmer as defensive coordinator. So they're going to go through a little bit of a change. They have studs. Deron Bland, they had a kid last year, had 9 interceptions and took 5 back for touchdowns. They do have playmakers. They're dangerous. Obviously, Micah Parsons is someone everyone pays attention to. But this defense is a different animal,
I can see
especially at home.
What about being so Browns like we lose like 14-10, where we actually do play good defense, but you
give
up a special teams touchdown and the offense only scores 10 points? I could see that happening.
Yeah,
too.
that's among the range of outcomes. I honestly, if this offense only has to score 18 points, man.
Do you think they get 18? Do you think they get 18?
You got to do. And week 1, this defense is going to be. You've seen what they were able to do last year. It didn't matter who you were playing at home; they were able to do it. And the key is, can the Browns do that shit on the road? That remains to be seen. but I have full faith in this team. And we're 2 in a row in or two in a row of season openers. Like, we're going the other way, baby. We had so many losses in a row. The shit's trending the other way now.
And I just want to point out. Oh, sorry.
I agree. This is why I feel about game 1 against Dallas is defenses generally come out of the gate on fire. Offenses take a week, 2, like to really get clicking. There's teams we played in week 1, week 3, and I'm like, man, I'm glad we played them now and not in week 10. You know what I mean? Where the offenses start rolling. Where a defense like the Browns can come out with all the talent and can really jump all over Dallas. You know what I mean? Because defenses just start faster.
I'm not scared of Ezekiel Elliott. CeeDee Lamb's not practicing.
Okay.
Is Jake Ferguson going to beat you? Like, I don't see it.
Yeah, I just want, like you said, you preached, don't worry, calm down. Vegas usually has a pretty good eye for these things. And I think when the line opened, the Browns were -1 to beat the Cowboys at home.
That's good.
I just checked. It's currently -2.5. So even with all of our offensive,
that's like making it an even game because you give the road team at least 3, so that's Vegas is basically saying that they think it's pretty even. Then
no, that's not right.
That's right. Okay,
one and a half points would be worth the move. Sorry, if we were playing in Dallas, it would actually move 3 points the other direction, which would mean we're a half point underdog. Right. So
if you're the home team, if you're a home team and you're not favored by more than if it's 2.5, basically Vegas is saying we're an even game because it's given the
bottom line is the Vegas realizes the Browns play really well at home and the Cowboys don't play well on the road, and we're going to win this game. So
the line's going to move more if CD
the
isn't.
Spread needs to get above 4 to 5 to feel comfortable.
All right. Well, you might need that assurance, but I am a Browns fan. And I know
you're a Browns fan. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I got a question.
Okay.
I want to ask Casey about something because, listen, man, I was a special teamer. That was my at St. Ed's claim to fame was I was a wedge buster.
You're a wedge buster, weren't you?
I was a wedge buster, baby.
And
I was a JV. I dressed the best wedges. I saw a couple almost returns in the new kickoff return thing this over the weekend watching the NFL highlights. I love Bubba Ventrone. I love to. I said something on Twitter, on X, and it was on your post, I believe. But I said if Josh Cribbs was returning kicks today with these rules, he'd be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I believe it was on one of your posts about that whole thing. I'm old. I'm kind of senile. I drink beer. You got to remember that. So I went to the 32 Grateful Dead shows, did a lot of acid. So it was, you and I were talking. I love the new kickoff rule. I'm excited about it. What do you think?
Well, the kickoff had just become such a dead play. I mean, I think on the season, I think you had 2 touchdowns returned all year last year. One of them was against us, but whatever.
Of course.
I love
the new kickoff rules. I didn't at first when they first introduced them, but I'm a huge, and I said I don't watch baseball. What I do watch, I'm a huge NFL guy, combat sports, mixed martial arts, boxing, but rugby. I watch rugby, unionized rugby. There's a lot of rugby elements to this kickoff rule, and it's line breakers. Someone like Cribbs, who's strong. It's really, you're going to see more running backs returning kickoffs than you're going to see the speedy wide receiver types. The Prochet's not going to be returning kickoffs.
You got that kid from Buffalo though to do the kick. Like wasn't he good at touchdowns last year for Buffalo?
Hines.
Yeah.
Not last year because last year he
whatever
a jet ski.
Yeah,
and he finally saw the field today, so that's promising. But yeah, I think if he's healthy, he's your returner.
Good,
in my opinion. You know what I mean? Even someone like Ford, you're going to want guys who can just break that first line. That's what it's going to come down to. And I still don't expect it to be some explosive play, but if you see 4 or 5 touchdowns throughout the course of a season, that's a 300% increase from what you'd normally get. So I think it'll lead to more explosive plays. I think it'll lead to better starting position on offense. If you just get a return, you're probably going to get to the 30.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Some teams are going to weaponize it, but no one's showing shit in the preseason. You're not seeing anybody get in their bag, showing you their tricks.
Tricks come out week 1. Yep.
You're going to
Right,
see,
right,
you're going to see, you're going to see polling. You're going to see traps. You're going to see.
Right.
That's the reason I was actually excited when they went and signed Nick Harris. I think Nick Harris is the perfect type of guy who could be on a kickoff return in this new system, who's a smaller offensive lineman, fleet of foot, but used to blocking guys in space.
Yeah.
You're going to see linebackers, defensive backs, maybe some faster defensive ends. But it's going to change, but we're not going to really know what we're looking at until we're like 3-4 weeks in, and you're going to get to see a couple guys break it or try to set things up at least. And you're allowed to have 2 returners back there. If you're a team like Miami with all that damn speed, you know what I mean? You could really try some stuff. It'd be interesting to see how they go about it. It's really tough to judge if you're just watching XFL film because those aren't the athletes that you have in the NFL. So we're going to get to see a lot of tricks. I'm excited for it. And I 100% agree with you, Roger. If Josh Cribbs is returning with these rules, that record would be out of sight.
Out of sight, man. Can you imagine?
Oh.
He put one foot in the ground and he was gone. And that's what it takes for a returner. Foot in the ground and gone. He didn't never hesitate, I
got excited when the opposing team scored touchdowns because you knew you were going to get a kickoff return.
Yeah. And Browns are good. Browns are good on tricks. Opening week, go back to 1994. Yep, I'm going back in the Wayback Machine. Browns at Bengals, first 2-point conversion.
Yeah, Tom Tupa, baby.
Tom Tupa, baby. So the Browns say new rules.
Exactly.
Maybe it's an ugly win against Dallas, but maybe the special teams get something done. So we'll see. It'll be fun.
Drexville High School, Tom Tupa.
Yeah,
that was Cribbs' greatest asset. He like as soon as the ball got in his hands, he was like a gun going off.
He was gone.
Every returner we've ever had since catches the ball and he goes like this.
Yeah.
Looks around, takes a step right. Josh
I don't understand why it seems such an easy thing, but I guess the problem is you have to make sure you haul that.
Well, he was different. The Browns were used to Ice Cube McNeil in the 80s. You had Eric Metcalf in the 90s. Josh Cribbs was different. He was bigger, doing the things those cats were doing. It was fun to watch.
Something else he did that those guys couldn't do. He's also the gunner on kickoff.
That's true. Another, you don't see Metcalf or McNeil doing that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He was on both teams, man. Yeah. But he was at Kent State. He was just like their entire offense.
Yeah, Steve Tasker and Eric Metcalf all into one.
Yeah. What about that Steelers game where he was the entire offense? The one game where literally
they ran the Wildcat.
Yeah,
he did everything.
Yeah,
we kicked their asses.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's like negative 10 degrees. I have one more question for you, Casey. Jerome Ford or Deontay Foreman at the end of the season, who will have the better season? And I'm not talking in terms of yardage or touchdown.
Yeah, no, I think what you're saying, I'm thinking in terms of meaningful role.
Yeah, and
for me, that's Deontay Foreman. I think don't get me wrong, you're going to be a running back by committee until Nick comes back. But when Nick comes back, he'll eat Jerome's carries, and Deontay will be the power back, the guy that the hammer with more upside. He's not the route runner that Cream was, but he can do damage with the ball in his hand.
In the open space, so we saw that in that last preseason game. He's dangerous.
Yeah, he's got more juice left in the tank than Cream had at this stage. Yeah. But Cream, I can't take nothing away from Reem. Crazy nose for the end zone.
Yeah, I wish you didn't wear 27.
It's pretty similar.
I know. I agree. I'm not ready for him yet.
I had posted. I said he better hit the hole harder than that if he wants to wear number 27, because Kareem was just a different thing, just a different breed. But I love Foreman. I love him. I just wish you wore another number. That way, I'm not reminded. Oh, damn.
I agree with you.
Kareem would have hit the hole harder. He the dude was just a nightmare, man. So.
All right. Well, the exciting news is I just heard a rumor that he's trading number 27 with Deshaun Watson. So Deshaun Watson will now be 27.
All right.
All right. Well, this has been an excellent episode of the Dawg Chug. I enjoyed it. It's been so much fun. Casey, it's so great to have someone on that could just help three idiots out to actually talk meaningful Browns. And and to make Roger look smart when it's Guardians, because
he crushed that though. Did you hear him? He knew everybody was left on the schedule. He knew how many games they had to get to. Like it's next level shit.
I find that disturbing, actually.
Please go read all of his articles on the Orange and Brown Report. He's killing it.
Absolutely.
There's no agenda. It's just like him putting his what he's seeing out there, which unfortunately not a lot of people that are writing articles about the Browns are doing. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show and to read your stuff and to see you on all the podcasts. You're phenomenal, man. I love everything you're doing.
We appreciate it, man.
When you come on. So
I'm uncomfortable with all these nice words. I do ask a question before I get out of here because I heard something in the beginning here. You just did a 3-day fast, right?
Yes.
I do that every now and again. My move is this is my move. So the week of Thanksgiving, I eat a dinner on Sunday night and I don't eat again until Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Wait, you eat Sunday night before. Okay, so you go from Sunday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning. Okay.
Just a little over that span.
Then you gorge yourself,
buddy. That's the best meal ever.
Yeah, no, it's the best meal ever. But
you went to McDonald's. I'm not trashing your first meal back.
But I didn't upsize it. I kept it.
What'd you get, Andy? I'm so
two
curious.
Cheeseburgers.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But I didn't get it large.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, also, you can't gorge yourself. That first meal back,
your stomach shrinks over those days.
Yeah.
So
but it's the food, it's the smells. When you walk in that house on Thanksgiving and you haven't eaten in going a little over 3 days, man, as soon as it touches your lips,
it'd be like the Browns going to the Super Bowl.
What? Oh yeah, it'll be like that. So this is kind of funny. Like my mom recommended this like water that has like fruit flavor in its vodka or something. I don't even know what the fuck. But it's okay, whatever. I had one of those today, and it was like better than pop.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get sugar out of your system for a couple of days, your body just like
what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, Andy?
Well, there you go.
What keeps me going.
So I gotta try the Sunday to Thursday fast. That sounds like a fun thing. Maybe I'll start on Saturday. We'll go.
It does a lot of things people don't know about, man. It resets your immune system.
Oh, it's so healthy for you.
It rewires your brain really and changes your relationship with food. So I recommend it, and it's just good for your discipline. Test yourself.
I love everything we're talking about, but then I remember listening to Howard Stern. A woman came on and talked about the value of drinking your own urine.
And she was
I'm
not there yet.
Dead fat. It's so good for you for this reason. So I sound like an idiot trying to endorse the fast, but I do think it's a good thing to do. Anyway, the good thing is regardless if you're fasting, you can still drink beer. I mean, technically not, but I didn't, but you can. And look, with that, this has been an excellent episode of the Dawg Chug. Ed, you were phenomenal today.
Thank you.
Rob,
I'm gonna clip that.
Before those 9.5s hit you, this might have been your best episode of the Dawg Chug.
Thank you.
I really wish we had quit right after that. Your second. Oh my God! When you did who's our backup quarterback?
Was it? Oh, the Jameis Winston thing.
Jameis Winston. That was. I mean, if you're tuning in now for whatever reason, go back and just watch that part.
I will clip it up. Check out the Dawg Chug on X. We'll have some clips of that coming up.
I already tried to praise how.
Jameis, he is awesome at the podium. He's awesome for a soundbite, man. If I bought a jersey, I'd get a Jameis. You know why? Because I told after Baker Mayfield took a crap all over Green Bay, I said, give me anybody, even Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Beside anybody than Baker Mayfield, even Jameis Winston. And I got what I wished for. I got it, and he's here. And I think we're going to see a lot of Jameis Winston, is my opinion.
If Jameis Winston does the pregame speech every week, you're getting the number 1 seed.
Okay. There you go. Right. Let him do the hype.
With that, this has been an excellent episode of the Dawg Chug. I think it's episode 172 because we're keeping count.
I thought it was 343.
Nope, you're way off. Drink if we got them, and go Browns. Let's kick some ass in Seattle.